Ladies and gentlemen, driving the new Hyundai Exter. It's basically built on the platform of a Hyundai i10, the Grand i10. So it's not the biggest vehicle, but it doesn't feel tiny. I think it's quite interesting. I am sitting in the driver's original position, seating position. I didn't feel like changing it, and I thought I'm actually going to get the experience of sitting a little bit high, so I can see the nose, which is actually not bad, because I know with my car I can't actually see the nose because I'm a little bit short. Also, the nose is a little bit far. I've probably been driving for about 500 meters now, but it's actually not it's a smooth drive. It's smooth, it's not bumpy. So the road that I am driving on is a relatively bumpy road. It's not the best road, but as I'm driving I don't feel a lot of the bumps, which I suspect is also probably because of the slightly fatter tires. If I'm correct, they're 15s or 16s, but they are a bigger profile, which I think is perfect for this little vehicle. Should probably just drop the seat a little bit back. There we go. So yeah, boom, through a bump. Not bad at all. So it's actually relatively comfortable as a drive. It's got the 1 liter motor. So it's 1 liter, 1.2 liter motor. I think it's a 60 kilowatt motor. Driving the auto. So it's got drive, neutral, and reverse. There is no sport mode. There is manual. So if you want to, you can obviously then use this amazing paddle shifters here that I'm not going to use. Actually, no, let's try and use them. We can get an idea. Okay, so as I suspected, and nothing before the driver sees the video and then shoots me, it's not a sports vehicle. So it does change a little bit slowly in manual mode. It's not like an immediate feel. And so I'm going to stick in normal drive. But I mean, it's a smooth drive. I always think with these 1.2s and the 1 liter turbos, you shouldn't expect a lot of power, but you're actually looking for a relatively smooth drive. You're looking for an economical drive. And this thing is very economical. So this thing uses around I would say between 5 and 5.6 liters per 100. So if you're looking for an economical vehicle, you generally looked at like your 1 liter turbo Volkswagens. This one's quite competitive in that regard. So that for me is, I mean, this makes it a winner in that sense. When we're thinking now, so far it's 2 kilometers. Now, of course, you cannot, say a car or decide on a vehicle in such a short period of time. I have had the absolute privilege of driving in this car before this also, as a passenger princess, and again, it's nice. It felt spacious, it felt comfortable. I always think people say a car, like they like to test drive the vehicle. I like to sit in the passenger seat, and if it feels comfortable in that regard, that's where I like to be. I don't actually like driving all the time, although I enjoy driving, mind you, but it is nice to relax every now and then. So this car's got quite a few features standard. So maybe we can just bring the camera to the front. Our lovely cameraman for the day. You can see it's got the infotainment system. I think again this is either, I'm going to say this is roughly about a 7 or 8 inch screen, and it's got some nice stuff. So it's got your Android Auto, which we are not using at the moment. But again, the nice thing about Android Auto is you then don't need to have a fancy navigation system, because obviously everything is on your phone, or it's basically using the phone's features, and then you can obviously stream your music and all the goodies. And I will then speak you through some of the features as we stop. But again, it's not a bad drive actually. Hi guys, so we've got the Exter here with us, as you can see in the background. I'm just going to take you around and show you some of the features. We'll start at the back. So if you look at the styling, this is the 1.2 automatic, the executive model. You can see it's got the more sort of off-roadish feel. in terms of the rear diffuser, and even on the sides it's got the plastic. What I like about the plastic, especially I suppose when you go on the mild off-road or gravel roads, is you end up not chipping your paint. And I guess that helps quite a bit. And especially for those with kids, when you open the door, the kids often slam the bottom of the door. You do find that the plastic helps. You rather scratch plastic as opposed to scratching, paintwork. Also, if you come around, Mr. Cameraman, um, or Miss, is that it's got rims, it's got your alloy wheels. I did say earlier they are 15s. What's it, 175/65? So it's a relatively thick profile, which actually helps with the ride quite a bit. Um, Again, two-tone look. Again, so again, it gives it quite a stylish view. It feels very elegant, smart. Is you've got obviously the white color, but then also the black roof. It doesn't have a sunroof. They do come with sunroofs. Unfortunately, this one wasn't spec'd with it. What I do understand is that they've got it's voice activated. So the first time, I must admit, it's probably in like much higher end vehicles. They probably voice activated. The fact that they come in these, I think that's quite cool, and it also speaks to how Hyundai and your other Korean cars are quite focused on giving you a lot of extras as basic features. And whereas other vehicles you have to pay an exorbitant amount of money to get these extras, these are coming standard. So when we come around to the front, this seems very futuristic. This is like iRobot, Will Smith like vibes. As you can see, so the main head beam, relatively small, very futuristic looking, nice and bright. Sorry, we have a vehicle driving past, as other people are testing their vehicles probably too. Again, very futuristic view. The styling is, again, it gives you quite an elegant feel. Front is at the sort of the bumper. Again, also very off-roadish feel. Now, of course, so I think the difference with this vehicle is one needs to figure out where does it fit in the segment, because it's not an SUV. It's a little bit smaller than your mini SUVs, but because it's built on a small hatchback, it's almost like a Polo Cross type vibe. And I'll try and figure out, I can't think of other vehicles, but there's so many in this segment, and I'll try and pop them up, the names and so on. But those would be your rivals. This for the price of around 312 to 320,000. Now it sounds like a hell of a lot of money, but when we think of the price of a new vehicle and what they're selling for right now, then this is quite a bit of car for that price. Brand new, with generally about a 4-year service plan, and I think even about a 5-year warranty. I stand corrected. Um, yeah, it's a lot of vehicle in a small package. So as you can see, car has, it's not a massive boot, but it's nice and deep, so it does give you enough space. Car was used for a support vehicle this morning for a run. And in more than enough space, for a 5 liter bottle and cups and even somebody's jacket. And if we really wanted to, we could probably fit another 2 jackets in here and even another 5 liter. But if you're traveling and you're a small family of like 2 or 3, then it's actually more than enough. So I wanted to show you guys, it's actually quite spacious in the back. There's actually a lot of room. I mean, I'm 1.68, which I think is about average height, but if you're about 1.8, you're not about to hit the roof, and there's more than enough leg room here, even if the driver did come a bit back, because the seat is relatively far forward. It's quite spacious here, and then even in the door, it's got space which looks like it can easily hold a 500 ml, probably a 1.1 liter, and even like a thin 1.5 liter bottle too. So it's really got it's got the vibes going here. So just a quick walkthrough in terms of this inside. We can see that we've got both USB-C charger. We've got the 12-volt input. This is really cool for things like laptops, charging cameras, little fridges. Well, I suppose we wouldn't put a fridge in the front, but I guess it can. It's got your normal USB, so that connects you to Android Auto. It's got your normal aircon. And then if you just bring it around this side, that you can see that it's got a digital dashboard, which is quite fancy. It's got nice lighting also, but it's a bit dark. I mean, a bit light, sorry, right now. But in the dark, it's got nice ambient lighting on the dashboard. And then it's got your features such as your cruise control. So, and like I said earlier, paddle shifters. So again, I think for me, what's quite impressive is the amount of features that come standard on the vehicle. And this is obviously something that we've seen from vehicles like Hyundai for a couple of years now. And I think that's what's making them so tempting for many people. And then in terms of the quality also, I think many people haven't had bad reviews about the quality of the vehicles and about them failing. And let's be honest, I think for the people that have been seeing it, I think those are people who maybe also not looking after their vehicles. Sorry, but let it be said. So in terms of Hyundai and their after service, I also know other people who do have Hyundais. They generally quite happy with the service. I've gone with a few different people to take their vehicles to Hyundai, and I mean just sort of like a sort of shadow. And I noticed their client interaction has always been, respectful. They always keeping them up to date. And yeah, I wonder have you had any sort of negative or good experience with them? And what are your thoughts on the new Hyundai Exter?